When it comes to video game to film adaptations, one of my absolute favorites is Like a Dragon. Equal parts adaptation of the game it's based on, and also new stories added to the film. Altogether, it is quite the fun watch for Yakuza veteran or casual movie viewer. Taking the story from the first game, which followed Kiro Kazuma on a quest to find an abandoned girl's mother that links to his past as well, while also being followed by the crazy and over-the-top baseball bat-wielding Goro Majima. We also follow a pair of lovebird amateur criminals, incompetent overheated bank robbers, and a strange, polite Korean hitman, whose stories all end up coming back to meet up with each other in the conclusion of the film. The movie blends characters new and old into a fun, fast-paced comedy drama with plenty of winks and nods to the game it is based on, and lots of fun action set pieces. If you're expecting the film to follow Kiro and Majima the entire runtime, however, you're going to be disappointed, as like with the later Yakuza games, the story is split relatively equally among the cast of Kamurocho misfits as their stories all collide. However, that isn't to say we don't get plenty of main star action, because it is here, it's just not the entire film, which I was personally okay with. Kiryu, Majima, Haruka, and the majority of characters coming over from the games were handled well, with the exception of the under-characterized Nishikiyama and Yumi, who only showed up at the end of the film, and they just weren't all that interesting. The new casts were all fun and tragic to follow, with each character's story getting a nice wrap-up before the credits rolled. The majority of the cast was pretty fitting for who they played. Sure, Kiryu's actor was a bit shorter than his gigantic in-game self, and Majima's eye patch is on the wrong eye, much to the chagrin of people who haven't actually seen this film, but outside of Nishiki looking completely off and a lot older than he's supposed to be, I believed everyone fit their role well enough. The plot is relatively easy to follow, at least compared to how the epic dramas that are the games play out. The things they did change here didn't really ruin the original story, and the fact that a lot of the movie was just treated as side story actually helped it feel like it wasn't trying to invalidate the game that it was based on by changing stuff just so it could fit the game stuff into the movie's runtime. You're probably wondering how the action is, and well, the action scenes are great. The film isn't a constant action romp, but each punch or shootout was extremely satisfying, over the top, and fun, and the callbacks to the game with Heat and Stamina X made me smile. Also, yes, Kiro does use a gun here, and not just his fists, a change I personally am fine with since it was near the climax of the movie and was really cool. The film was also especially silly, with plenty of comedic scenes and well-delivered joke lines, but these never detracted from when there had to be more serious scenes focusing on the drama. The flow of each segment was handled really well, and I never felt like the tone of each scene tried to fight each other over the viewer's attention. The film has a lot of really nice shots, and the special effects were really nice, save for some of the helicopter shots near the end. Yes, the CGI for the helicopter was not incredible, but it still provided some really cool and nice looking moments. I adore the entire soundtrack that was in the movie. From the original mainstream songs not featured in the video game itself, to the music that sounded like it was ripped straight from the game, it all ranged from being catchy, action-oriented, or even creeping with some of the more serious scenes. And with all that said, I will never understand why people hate this film. Not only do the parts it's adapting from the game feel spot on, but the new stuff also fits with the one night in Kamurocho feel the movie has going for it. Outside the few very minor things I pointed out, it's a very faithful product, and one I'm sure any fan would enjoy if they actually gave it their time. With barely any scenes that dragged, a great cast, plenty of chuckle-worthy moments, and awesome action, and naturally things put in to please fans, this is a fun time, and definitely worth a watch if you can track down a copy. As always, if you want to help support the channel, please consider sharing the video with a friend or checking out my Patreon linked in the description below. If you have any comments, questions, or recommendations, leave them down below as I read and reply to everything. Until next time, this is Thierry Williamson signing off until the next video. See ya, guys!